The sky above Times Square cracked like glass, not metaphorically. The air fractured, a sound like continental shelves grinding together. Tourists looked up from their phones. Street performers froze. Even the billboards flickered as if reality itself had buffered. Then he stepped through. Purple skin, gold armor scarred by the death of stars, eyes carrying the weight of galaxies reduced to dust. Thanos emerged from a wound in space that bled violet light. The Infinity Gauntlet pulsed with 6 colors that had no right existing in the same spectrum. He took one step onto 42nd Street. The asphalt cracked, not from weight, but from presence. Someone screamed, then everyone did. Thanos didn't notice. He stared at the screens, hundreds of them covering every surface. A blonde man in an American flag cape, smiling like a god who'd never known consequence. A woman with lightning, selling energy drinks. A fish man promoting ocean conservation beside a corporate logo. Fascinating, Thanos murmured. His voice made car alarms wail. They've commodified divinity. The Soul Stone pulsed orange against his knuckle. It had been screaming since Vormir, since the snap that was supposed to bring peace but brought him here. The stones had rejected his rest, tearing through dimensions to reach a universe so broken, so imbalanced, they couldn't ignore it. This world didn't worship gods. It franchised them. An NYPD car screeched around the corner. Officers poured out, weapons drawn, voices cracking. "Stand down, hands where we can." "Jesus Christ, what is that?" "Not a thing," Thanos replied. He raised one finger. The power stone flared violet. The police car crumpled like tin foil, compressed into a perfect sphere. It rolled past the officer's feet. Nobody moved. "I am inevitable." 17 blocks away, Vought Tower's crisis center exploded with alerts. Unidentified metahuman, Times Square. Radiation levels off the charts. He just crushed a vehicle. We need the 7 now. Ashley Barrett stared at the feeds, watching her career detonate in real time. Thanos stood motionless while thousands fled. He looked bored, like a philosopher, waiting. "Get me Homelander," she snapped. "Get me everyone." 3 floors up, Stan Edgar watched the same footage. Unlike Ashley, he wasn't panicking. He was calculating whether this purple giant represented a threat or an opportunity. "Deploy the 7, Edgar said smoothly. "Full media coverage. If he's a metahuman, he has a price. Everyone does." In Times Square, Thanos walked. The stones hummed, feeding him information. The Mind Stone whispered of thoughts so shallow they barely qualified as consciousness. The Reality Stone showed truth beneath lies. A planet held hostage by corporations selling protection from threats they'd created. The Soul Stone screamed. Every soul here carried the stain of complicity. They'd traded truth for comfort, heroism for entertainment. "Balance," Thanos whispered. "This universe doesn't even remember what it means." A sonic boom split the sky. Homelander descended like a golden bullet, landing 20 feet away with enough force to spiderweb concrete. Behind him, the 7 touched down. A-Train's lightning, Maeve's stoic beauty, Starlight's nervous radiance. Cameras circled, news choppers hovered. "All right, big guy," Homelander said, smile sharp as broken glass. "I don't know what rock you crawled from, but this is my city, my planet, and you just made a really big mistake." Thanos studied him. This golden creature, this false idol wrapped in a flag. The Mind Stone fed him everything: narcissism, insecurity, rage beneath corporate conditioning. A child with godlike power and no understanding of either. You wear your weakness like armor, Thanos said quietly, and call it strength. Homelander's smile froze. What did you? You are not a god. You are a product. Thanos took one step forward. Homelander felt it in his chest. Pressure, ancient and absolute. A brand ambassador for a civilization that has forgotten what actual power looks like. Okay. Homelander's eyes began glowing red. I gave you a chance. No, you gave yourself a show. Heat vision lanced out. Twin beams capable of cutting through bank vaults. They struck Thanos' center mass. He didn't move, didn't flinch. The beams simply stopped. The space stone bent their trajectory, folding the energy into non-existence. Homelander's eyes widened. Just for a second, just long enough for every camera to catch it. Thanos closed his fist. Reality stone. Red mist erupted around Homelander's feet. Concrete turned to quicksand. He sank to his waist in half a second, thrashing. 7 million viewers watched their greatest hero flail like a child. This is your champion, Thanos addressed the cameras. This fragile ego wrapped in invulnerability. This is what you worship? He opened his hand. Homelander shot out, gasping, hovering unsteadily. His suit was cracked, his hair disheveled. His eyes held something new, fear. I have seen gods. I have killed gods. The stones blazed, purple, blue, red, orange, yellow, green, a rainbow of extinction. You are not even a convincing imitation. He turned away from the seven, from the cameras, from the watching world. But you will serve as a demonstration. The stones pulsed in unison. Once, twice. On the third pulse, every screen in Times Square, every phone, every billboard, every feed displayed the same image. Thanos' face, eyes burning with cosmic purpose. He spoke 2 words that would haunt a planet. I'm coming. The transmission cut. The wound in space reopened. Thanos stepped through and reality sealed like scar tissue. In Vought Tower, Stan Edgar picked up his phone. In Times Square, Homelander floated alone, watching a billion phones replay his fear. And somewhere in the dark, Billy Butcher saw the footage and smiled for the first time in months. A real monster had finally arrived. If you're craving crossovers that respect both universes, where cosmic titans meet corporate corruption, where every punch carries consequence, and where false gods learn what real power looks like, smash that subscribe button and drop your dream matchup in the comments. Doomsayer in Halo, Darth Vader in Suicide Squad. We're building the multiverse, one reckoning at a time. The Vought International boardroom had floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking Manhattan. From this height, the city looked clean, orderly, the kind of lie that required 50 stories of distance to maintain. Stan Edgar stood at the head of the table, hands clasped behind his back, watching the news coverage on muted screens. Every channel showed the same footage on loop. Homelander sinking into concrete, Homelander's eyes wide with fear. Homelander looking, for the first time in his public life, small. The stock ticker in the corner was bleeding red. Vought International down 18% in 2 hours. Gentlemen, Edgar said, voice calm as a heart monitor flatlining, we have a narrative problem. Around the table, executives shifted uncomfortably. Ashley stood in the corner, tablet clutched to her chest like a shield, stress-eating her 3rd protein bar of the morning. A narrative problem? Madeline Stillwell's replacement, a shark in a pencil skirt named Victoria, leaned forward. Stan, that thing made Homelander look like a child having a tantrum. Our entire brand is invincibility. If he's not invincible, then we redefine invincibility." Edgar turned from the window. His eyes were cold, surgical. Homelander didn't lose. He strategically withdrew to assess an unprecedented alien threat. He's being responsible, measured. The networks will love the character growth angle. "And the purple guy?" someone asked. "What do we call him?" "Nothing yet. We don't name him. That gives him legitimacy." Edgar began pacing, slow and deliberate. "We control the narrative by controlling the context. He's not a villain. He's not a hero. He's a phenomenon, an event. And Vought International is humanity's best defense against events." Ashley's tablet pinged, then pinged again, then started vibrating continuously. Sir?" Her voice cracked. "Social media it's everywhere. Real God Has Arrived is trending worldwide. People are calling Homelander a fraud. There are memes, so many memes." Edgar's jaw tightened, the only sign of emotion he'd allow himself. "Show me." Ashley tapped her screen. A video played, Homelander's face, frozen in that moment of fear, with the caption, "When you're used to God mode and someone turns on PvP." 3 million likes. Another showed Thanos' calm expression side by side with Homelander's panic. "Tell me you're a fake hero without telling me you're a fake hero." "Christ," someone muttered. "We're losing the culture war in real time." Then we changed the battlefield. Edgar pulled out his phone, dialed a number. "Get me Homelander. Now." Across the city, in his penthouse suite, Homelander stood in front of floor-to-ceiling mirrors, staring at his reflection. His suit was already repaired. Vaught's costume department worked fast. His hair was perfect. His smile was ready. But his hands were shaking. He'd been hit before. Superman-level hits from opponents in controlled environments, testing labs, sparring, matches with other supes who knew to pull punches. He'd felt pressure. But what happened in Times Square wasn't pressure. It was irrelevance. The way Thanos looked at him. Not with hatred, not with fear, not even with respect. Just observation. The way a scientist observes bacteria. The way a butcher observes cattle. His phone buzzed. Edgar's name flashed on the screen. Homelander let it ring 4 times before answering, needing those seconds to rebuild his voice. "Stan. Penthouse. 5 minutes. We're doing damage control." "I don't need damage control. I need a rematch. That purple freak caught me off guard." "John." Edgar's voice cut through like a scalpel. "You're trending for all the wrong reasons. Your Q score dropped 9 points in 2 hours. 9. Do you understand what that means?" Homelander's reflection smiled back at him, the perfect camera-ready smile that had sold $1 billion in merchandise. But behind the smile, his eyes were empty pits. "It means people are sheep," Homelander said quietly. "And sheep need to be reminded who protects them." "No. It means you need to be reminded that protection is a service, and services require consumer confidence." Edgar's voice softened, calculated. "Come to the tower. We'll spin this. We'll make you look even stronger than before. But I need you here, focused, not spiraling in your apartment, watching yourself lose on repeat." The call ended. Homelander stood alone, staring at his reflection. Then he raised one hand, slowly, and the mirror cracked down the middle from the force of his grip on the frame. Miles away, in a warehouse in Brooklyn that smelled like diesel and old blood, Billy Butcher replayed the Times Square footage for the 7th time. "Beautiful," he whispered. "Absolutely fucking beautiful." Mother's Milk looked up from cleaning his gun. You seeing something I'm not? Because I'm seeing a purple alien with magic rocks who just embarrassed Homelander. That don't help us. That makes shit worse. Does it? Butcher rewound to the moment Homelander sank into the concrete. Froze it. Look at his face, MM. Properly look. That's not anger. That's not even pain. That's fear. Real, existential, piss-yourself terror. The kind that sticks. Frenchie leaned over, squinting at the screen. You think this Thanos, he can kill Homelander? I think Homelander believes he can, and that's almost as good. Butcher stood, pacing. His mind was already working, calculating. We've spent years looking for ways to hurt that cunt. Weapons, blackmail, compound V derivatives. Nothing sticks because he's too strong, too fast, and Vought owns the refs. But this, he tapped the screen. This is different. This is someone who don't give a fuck about Vought. Someone who made Homelander look like a joke on global television. So what? Huey's voice came from the corner. Quiet. We team up with an alien warlord. Billy, this guy looks like he could snap the planet in half. I'm not saying we team up. Butcher's smile was a knife. I'm saying we find out what he wants. See if what he wants and what we want happen to align. Enemy of my enemy and all that philosophical bollocks. And if they don't align, MM asked, then we're fucked anyway, innit? Might as well go down swinging. The warehouse fell silent except for the hum of old refrigerators and distant traffic. On the screen, Thanos' face filled every pixel, those words echoing, I'm coming. Kimiko signed something to Frenchie. He translated, she says he looks sad. The purple man, she says his eyes are old. Butcher studied the frozen image. The Titan's expression held no rage, no joy, just purpose, ancient, terrible purpose. Sad things are the most dangerous, Butcher murmured. They've got nothing left to lose. In a dimension adjacent to reality, Thanos stood on a cliff of solidified space, watching Earth boys through the shimmer of the space stone. The planet was a blue marble wrapped in signals, electromagnetic radiation screaming into the void, carrying advertisements, propaganda, carefully curated lies. He could see the infrastructure now, the invisible chains. Vought International's tendrils reaching into governments, media, military. A corporate parasite that had convinced its host it was the immune system. Efficient, he admitted, but unsustainable. The Soul Stone pulsed, feeding him information. 9 billion souls, 97% living in various states of delusion, worshipping false idols, consuming products that promised fulfillment and delivered only emptiness. The remaining 3% saw the truth and were either crushed by it or became part of the machinery. This is what you wanted me to see, Thanos said to the stones. They hummed in response, a chorus of cosmic hunger. A civilization that has optimized exploitation, that has turned heroism itself into a commodity. The reality stone showed him the mathematical certainty. This world would collapse within 3 generations. The systems were eating themselves, the resources depleting, the social fabric tearing. The compound Phi experiments alone had created enough genetic time bombs to sterilize the species. They were already dying. They just didn't know it yet. So you brought me here to... what? Save them? Thanos laughed, a sound like stars dying. I tried saving universes. It didn't take. But the stones pulsed again, insistent, and the Soul Stone showed him something else. Potential. Buried deep beneath the corruption, beneath the corporate machinery, There were souls still capable of growth, still capable of choosing truth over comfort. Not many, but some. "You want balance," Thanos said slowly, understanding. "But not through extinction, through exposure." The gauntlet blazed with approval. Thanos looked down at the planet, at the glittering cities built on foundations of lies, and made his decision. "Very well. I'll show them what they've become. I'll tear away the curtain and let them see their heroes for the products they are." He closed his fist, feeling the stone's power singing through his veins. And then, when they beg for the comfort of their delusions, his smile was terrible and sad. "I'll give them truth instead." The Space Stone opened a portal, not to Times Square this time, but to somewhere more symbolic, more devastating. Vought Tower, the heart of the lie. Thanos stepped through into Stan Edgar's boardroom, materializing between the table and the window, and spoke the words that would echo through a world's nightmares. "You sell gods. I am balance." Stan Edgar, to his credit, didn't flinch. He simply adjusted his tie and said, "I'm listening." Stan Edgar had negotiated with senators, warlords, and cartel bosses. He'd learned that power was a performance, and whoever showed fear first lost. So when Thanos materialized in his boardroom, space tearing like wet paper, Edgar did not run, did not gasp. He adjusted his tie and said, "I'm listening." The executive scrambled for the door. Ashley dropped her tablet. 2 board members pressed against the windows. Thanos ignored them, his eyes fixed on Edgar with something almost like curiosity. "You're not afraid," the Titan observed. The Infinity Stones pulsed rainbow shadows across marble. "Everyone else is screaming inside their minds. But you're calculating." "Fear wastes resources," Edgar replied. He poured scotch, didn't offer Thanos any. "You're clearly intelligent, powerful. You made a statement designed for maximum psychological impact. That suggests you want more than destruction." "Perhaps I enjoy watching false gods crumble." "Then you'd have killed Homelander in Times Square." Edgar sipped. "You humiliated him instead." "Broadcasted it. That's not destruction. That's education." Thanos smiled. Terrible, patient. "I like you. You remind me of a daughter I once knew." She saw through sentiment to survival's mathematics. The smile faded. "I killed her. Does that concern you?" "Should it?" Most would say yes. Most don't run Vought International. Edgar set down his glass. The executives had fled. Only Ashley remained, frozen. "You're here because you see what I see. This world is broken. People worship heroes who'd let them die for a photo opportunity. You're describing your own company. I'm describing human nature. Vought didn't create the hunger for easy answers. We monetized it." Edgar gestured at the city below. "Every civilization builds gods in its image. Ours builds them in boardrooms and test tubes. Your company covers up more murders than most wars. Your heroes are chemically lobotomized psychopaths." Thanos stepped forward. Reality bent around him. "You are a tumor that convinced its host it's an organ." Edgar didn't flinch. "Yet you're talking instead of erasing me. Why?" The Soul Stone flared orange. Thanos studied Edgar through its glow, seeing past flesh to the calculating engine beneath. "Because tumors understand cancer," Thanos said quietly. "And I need to understand this disease before I cure it." "Cure?" Edgar's eyes narrowed. Interesting word choice. Not destroy. Cure. This universe called to the Infinity Stones. They tore through dimensions to reach it. Thanos raised his gauntlet. The stones pulsed in sequence. Your world is so broken that reality itself recoils. The imbalance here wounds existence. And you're the surgeon. Edgar walked closer, entering Thanos' personal space. So let's discuss treatment. You could destroy everything, kill Homelander, the Seven, every soupy, but that doesn't cure the disease. That's chemotherapy. You sell gods, Thanos said, each word deliberate. I am balance. Silence. Even Ashley's breathing stopped. Those 6 words hung like a death sentence. Edgar held the Titan's gaze. Then let's discuss what balance looks like. You humiliated Homelander globally. Do you understand what that unleashes? He's not a hero. He's barely a person. He's a weapon with abandonment issues. You shattered the only thing holding his psychosis in check, his belief in his invincibility. Then your weapon will break, and the world will see what it worshipped. No, he'll lash out. Civilians die, cities burn, and Vought spins it as mental health crisis triggered by alien interference. Edgar's voice remained level. We make you the villain, Homelander the victim. People believe it because they need to. Because the alternative, that their heroes were always monsters, is too painful. Your species chooses comfortable lies. This is why balance is necessary. Balance through what? Revelation? Edgar laughed, sharp, bitter. People don't want truth. They want winners, strength, someone protecting them even if that someone's a sociopath. You can't cure that with exposure. You can only break it. Then they deserve the chaos they've enabled. Maybe. But that's not balance. That's revenge disguised as philosophy. Edgar poured more scotch. You want to fix this world? Understand it first. The psychology. The machinery that makes people choose comfortable slavery over dangerous freedom. Thanos studied him. The Mind Stone sifted through Edgar's thoughts. Layers of calculation, sociopathy masked as pragmatism. You're offering to help, Thanos said slowly. Why? Because you're clumsy. Powerful, but clumsy. You'll shatter everything and call it balance. Edgar's smile was predatory. But if you want to cure this, you need a scalpel, not a hammer. Someone who understands the infection from inside. In exchange, survival, influence, satisfaction watching a broken system collapse. Edgar raised his glass. I'm not good. I've done terrible things for profit, but I'm honest about what I am, more than I can say for the heroes. The stones pulsed. The Soul Stone showed Edgar's truth. He meant it, not from care, but opportunity. No, Thanos said finally. You misunderstand. I'm not here to negotiate. I'm here to deliver a message. He closed his fist. Reality rippled. Space folded. Thanos grabbed Edgar's throat. Not to kill, but to hold. The Reality Stone flared. They weren't in the boardroom anymore. They stood in a Vought testing facility, underground. Children screamed in cages while scientists adjusted compound V dosages. Failures incinerated. Success measured in weaponizability. Edgar's composure cracked. This is your balance, Thanos whispered. Children tortured into gods so you can sell salvation to their parents. Reality shifted. Suburban home. Family watching television. The Seven on screen, smiling. Father in Homelander shirt. Mother with A-Train mug. Daughter clutching Starlight doll. They love your products. Believe the stories. Thanos pointed at the girl. In 4 years, Homelander kills her during botched rescue. You pay the family $12 million for an NDA. They take it because accepting their daughter died for a photo opportunity would destroy them. Reality snapped back. Edgar stumbled, gasping, tie finally askew. You want treatment options? Thanos released him. Here's mine. I'm showing this world what it's become, stripping every lie, every delusion, every corporate spin. And when your civilization stands naked before truth, the stones blazed. We'll see if it chooses to heal or die. Thanos vanished. Space sealed like a closing wound. Stan Edgar stood alone, tie crooked for the first time in 20 years, staring at his reflection. And for the first time since learning his daughter was a soup, Stan Edgar felt afraid. Billy Butcher had seen the footage 3 times before he made the call. 4th time was to memorize the tells, the way Homelander's hands twitched before he tried the heat vision, the microsecond of calculation in the purple bastard's eyes, the efficiency of someone who'd fought gods and wasn't impressed by a lab rat in a cape. "You're sure about this?" MM asked, loading magazines with surgical precision. "We don't know what this thing wants." "I know what Homelander wants," Butcher replied, lighting a cigarette. "And right now, he wants to prove he's still top of the food chain, which means he's gonna do something stupid, bloody, and very public." He exhaled smoke toward the warehouse's water-stained ceiling. "Our purple friend just declared open season on false gods. I'd like to have a chat before the shooting starts." "A chat," Frenchie said from his workbench, not looking up from the explosive he was carefully not exploding. "With an alien who crushes cars by pointing. This is your plan." "My plan is survival, mate. And right now, the enemy of my enemy might be the only reason we're still breathing next week." Butcher pulled up a laptop, fingers flying across keys. "Huey, you still got access to Vought's satellite network?" Huey looked up from the corner where he'd been pretending to read the same page for 20 minutes. "Technically. Maybe. Annie gave me her login before..." He trailed off. "Before she'd been reassigned to a redemption PR tour. Before Homelander had stopped pretending to be stable. Why? Because our Titan friend didn't teleport randomly. He went to Vought Tower, specifically to Edgar's office." Butcher tapped the screen. Security footage shows him materializing, having a conversation, then vanishing with Edgar. 2 minutes later, Edgar's back, looking like he's seen his own death certificate. Whatever that conversation was, it rattled the most unshakable bastard in corporate America. Kimiko signed something rapid. Frenchie translated. "She says Thanos looks sad in the video, like Kenji looked before he died, like someone who's already mourning." "Sad things burn the world down," MM muttered. "My grandmother used to say that. Angry men make noise. Sad men make graves." Butcher stubbed out his cigarette. "Then we'd best figure out whose graves he's digging before we end up in one." He stood, grabbed his coat. "I'm going to Staten Island. There's a Vought black site there, decommissioned officially. But nothing's ever really decommissioned when you're as paranoid as Edgar. If Thanos is tracking Vought's infrastructure, that's where he'll look next." "And you're just gonna walk up and introduce yourself?" Huey's voice cracked. "Billy, this guy fought Homelander like he was swatting a fly. Which is why I'm not bringing the fly." Butcher checked his pistol. Loaded, safety off, utterly useless against cosmic power, but comforting nonetheless. "Look, we've spent 3 years playing guerrilla warfare against an enemy we can't beat, can't kill, can barely slow down. Now someone shows up who makes Homelander piss himself on camera, and you want me to hide in a warehouse? Nah. I'm gonna find out if he's killable too, or if he's just a different flavor of unkillable we can aim at the right target." MM stood. Then I'm coming with you. The hell you are. Someone needs to keep these idiots alive if I don't come back. Someone needs to keep your dumb ass from getting vaporized before you finish a sentence. Grabbed his own coat. Besides, if this goes sideways, you'll want someone there to tell the story right. Butcher smiled. Rare, genuine, sentimental bastard. Practical bastard. Let's go meet a god. The Staten Island facility looked abandoned. Rusted chain link, cracked concrete, weeds growing through the parking lot like nature reclaiming bad decisions. But Butcher knew better. The cameras were too clean, the locks too new, and the air had that electric quality that came from underground generators running 24/7. Motion sensors, whispered, crouched behind a shipping container. Definitely, but they're aimed out, not in. Edgar's paranoid about infiltration, not exfiltration. Butcher studied the building's northwest corner. There's an access tunnel, storm drain that's not on city records. Leads straight to... The air split open. Not a door, not an explosion, just reality deciding it was done being continuous. Purple light bled through the tear like a wound, and Thanos stepped into the parking lot as casually as someone entering a grocery store. Fuck me, Butcher breathed. Thanos turned, looked directly at them. The Infinity Stones pulsed on his gauntlet, and Butcher felt the Mind Stones touch like ice water in his skull. Not invasive, just observing. Cataloging. Understanding in a single instant everything Billy Butcher was and had ever been. You're the one who smiles when heroes die, Thanos said. Not a question, an observation. Your mind tastes of rage and grief in equal measure. Someone you loved, someone a hero killed. Butcher stood slowly, hands visible. Stayed crouched, weapon ready but not raised. Wife, Homelander raped her. She died giving birth to his abomination of a child. Vought paid my silence. I've spent every day since figuring out how to make him bleed. And succeeding? Not yet. But I'm persistent. Thanos studied him the way an entomologist studies an interesting beetle. You should be terrified. Your companion is... His heart rate suggests imminent cardiac arrest. But you're not afraid. Why? Because I've been afraid every day for 3 years, and it didn't change a damn thing. Butcher took 3 steps closer. Suicidal or brave, he'd never been sure the difference. You're here to tear down Vought. I'm here to kill Homelander. Seems like our interests align. You assume I care about your vendetta. I assume you care about balance. Whatever that means to someone who wears 6 magic rocks and crushes cars for fun. Butcher gestured at the facility. This building. It's where Vought tests Compound V on unwilling subjects. Kids mostly, immigrants with no papers. People no one misses. They're trying to perfect the formula. Make it controllable. Make it profitable. There's probably 30 people in there right now being tortured in the name of better quarterly earning. Thanos looked at the building. The reality stone pulsed red, showing him through walls and concrete. Butcher was right. Cages, screams, scientists with clipboards measuring agony. You want me to stop this? Thanos said. I want you to understand it. You walked into Edgar's office talking about balance, about showing the world what it's become. But this, Butcher's voice went cold, sharp. This is what it's always been. Vought didn't corrupt heroism. Heroism was always a product. The corruption's not a bug, it's the entire point. So you brought me here as evidence. I brought you here because I need to know if you're another monster with pretty philosophy or if you actually give a fuck. Butcher pulled out a cigarette, didn't light it, Homelander's the face. Edgar's the brain. But this, facilities like this across 17 countries, this is the heart. Kill Homelander, Edgar rebuilds. Kill Edgar, Homelander goes nuclear. But this system, he pointed at the building. This is what makes both of them possible. Thanos was silent for a long moment. The stones hummed. The Soul Stone showed him the people inside, their pain, their desperation, their fading hope. Children who'd been promised immigration papers, addicts who'd been promised clean starts, homeless who'd been promised meals. All of them lied too, all of them expendable. "You're clever," Thanos said finally. "You show me horror to weaponize my conscience, to make me your tool. I'm showing you truth. What you do with it is up to you." Butcher lit the cigarette now. "But if you're actually here for balance, if you actually believe your own speeches about showing this world what it is, then you need to see the whole picture. Not just the cape and the cameras, the machinery underneath." Thanos turned back to the facility, raised his gauntleted hand. "Wait!" started. The power stone flared violet. The building didn't explode. It's simply unmade matter converting to energy, energy dispersing into harmless light. In 3 seconds, the entire facility was gone. Just gone. A perfect crater where human suffering had been industrialized. Then space folded. The people inside, scientists, guards, victims, appeared in the parking lot, unharmed but unconscious. Thanos had separated perpetrator from prey with surgical precision. "The guilty will wake in police custody with evidence of their crimes uploaded to every major news network," Thanos said. "The victims will wake in hospitals with medical care and legal asylum already processed." He looked at Butcher. "Is this the balance you wanted?" "It's a start." "No, it's a demonstration." Thanos stepped closer. "You want me to be your weapon against Vought, to do what you cannot, but I am not a tool. I am not your revolution. I am correction itself." The stones blazed. "This world will be shown what it is. Every lie exposed, every crime revealed, every false god stripped to their human fragility, and then, only then, will balance be possible." "And Homelander?" Butcher asked. "When you strip him down, what happens to the civilians in the blast radius?" "That," Thanos said, "is why I'm not simply erasing him, why I humiliated rather than executed." He turned to leave, space beginning to fold around him. "Fear is a teacher. Let him be afraid. Let the world watch him be afraid. And when his fear turns to rage, when he lashes out at the civilization that saw his weakness, they will understand what they truly worshipped." "That's a lot of corpses for a lesson." Thanos paused. "Yes, but fewer than if nothing changed at all. This world is already dying. I'm simply accelerating the autopsy." He vanished. Reality sealed. Was shaking. "Billy, what the fuck did we just do?" Butcher stared at the crater where 30 people had been tortured an hour ago. Stared at the unconscious victims already being found by confused EMTs whose phones had mysteriously received anonymous tips. "We met the devil," Butcher said quietly, "and learned he's got standards." His phone buzzed. Unknown number, text message. "Homelander is hunting me. He will fail, but he will try in front of cameras. Times Square, midnight. Be there if you want your revenge, or stay home if you want to live. T." Butcher showed the screen. "Fuck," whispered. "Yeah," Butcher agreed. "Fuck indeed." He texted back, "I'll bring popcorn." The response was immediate. "Bring evidence. When he falls, the world needs to know why." Butcher smiled, not his usual bitter smirk. Something sharper, more dangerous. Oi get Huey to pull every file we've got on Homelander. Every crime, every cover-up, every body. He started walking back to the car. Our Titan friend's gonna put on a show. We're gonna make sure the audience learns something. Above them, Thanos watched from a dimensional fold, invisible. The Mind Stone showed him Butcher's thoughts. The planning, the rage, the careful calculation of a man who'd turned grief into geometry. Yes, Thanos murmured. You'll do nicely. The stones pulsed in agreement. Balance required more than power. It required witnesses, chroniclers, survivors who would tell the stories when the dust settled. And Billy Butcher would survive. Thanos would make certain of it, because every revolution needed a historian to explain why it was necessary. Homelander stood on Vought Tower's roof, 99 floors above a city that used to worship him, past tense. Used to, before the memes, before the headlines, before a purple alien made him look like a child throwing a tantrum. His phone had 847 missed calls. He'd stopped counting texts at 3,000, all of them variations of the same question. Are you okay? Are you still strong? Are you still our hero? Of course I'm your fucking hero, he whispered to the wind. Then louder, I'm Homelander. The city didn't respond. It never did. Cities were ungrateful like that. His reflection stared back from the glass door behind him. Perfect hair, perfect suit, perfect smile. But he'd watched the Times Square footage 91 times now, knew exactly which frame captured the moment his invincibility died. Frame 247, his eyes wide, his body sinking, his face showing something he'd trained himself to never show. Weakness. I need to kill him, Homelander said to no one, to everyone, to the voice in his head that sounded like his own but meaner. I need to rip his purple head off and show the world that I'm still. His laser vision activated involuntarily. Twin beams carved through a water tower 3 buildings over. Steam exploded. Somewhere, people screamed. Homelander didn't care, couldn't care. The only thing in his head was that moment, that frame, that feeling of being observed, like he was nothing. Sir? Ashley's voice crackled through his earpiece. She sounded like she'd been crying. She was always crying now. We need you for the press conference. The networks are waiting. We've prepared a statement about... No. Sir, please, the stock is... I said no. He yanked the earpiece out, crushed it between his fingers. Let the pieces fall 99 floors? I'm done with statements, done with spin, done pretending that thing didn't make me look weak. His phone buzzed. Another text, but this one was different. Unknown number. No words, just coordinates and a time. Times Square. Midnight. Homelander smiled. Finally. You want a rematch? He whispered. I'll give you a fucking rematch. He launched into the sky, sonic boom shattering every window on the top 5 floors. In her office, Ashley stared at her computer screen, watching Vought's stock plummet in real time. Down 34% now, worse than after Stormfront, worse than after the plane. This was freefall, this was extinction. Her phone rang. Edgar. He's gone, isn't he? Edgar's voice was calm. Too calm, the kind of calm that came before executions. Yes, sir. I tried to... It doesn't matter. Papers rustled. How many people are in Times Square right now? Ashley pulled up crowd analytics. Saturday night, probably 40,000. Maybe more for the theater crowds. Good. Make sure every camera we own is pointed there. Every news crew, every social media influencer, every tourist with a phone. I want total coverage. Sir, if Homelander fights that thing in public again, Then we'll have footage of exactly what humanity is up against. Either Homelander wins and we salvage the brand, or he loses and we pivot to a narrative about the need for global defense spending. Vought defense contracts has been underperforming. Nothing drives military budgets like existential threats. Edgar paused. Make sure medical is on standby. And Ashley? Yes, sir. Update your resume. Whether he wins or loses, someone's getting fired for this. The line went dead. At 11:47 p.m., Times Square was electric. Not just with neon and advertisements, with anticipation. The rumors had spread like wildfire. Something was happening, something big. The kind of big that people recorded for their grandchildren. Butcher arrived at 11:50, and Huey flanking him. They'd brought 3 go bags full of evidence. Flash drives, printed documents, video compilations. Everything they'd collected over 3 years of hunting Homelander. You really think he's gonna show? Huey asked, scanning the crowd. Everyone had their phones out. Everyone was waiting. He'll show. Butcher lit a cigarette. His ego won't let him hide. Not after being embarrassed. Not after the world saw him sink into pavement like a scared child. And Thanos? Already here. Spun. Where? Everywhere. Nowhere. Butcher pointed at the sky, at the buildings, at the spaces between. You don't feel it? That pressure, like the air's holding its breath? He's watching, waiting. Thanos don't rush. He lets his enemies come to him. At 11:58, the screens changed. Every billboard, every display, every phone in Times Square, all of them showing the same image. Thanos' face, calm and patient, with 2 words underneath. I'm waiting. The crowd went silent. 40,000 people holding their breath. Then, at exactly midnight, Homelander descended. He landed hard, concrete cracking, dust billowing. His cape was torn, his suit was scuffed, his hair was wild, but his eyes were glowing red, and his smile was the smile of someone who'd stopped caring about collateral damage. Thanos! His voice carried across the square, amplified by fury and desperation. Get out here! Stop hiding and face me like... Reality tore open. Thanos stepped through, 10 feet in front of Homelander. The Infinity Stones pulsed rainbow light across his gauntlet. He looked exactly the same as before. Calm, patient, unbothered. You summoned me, Thanos said quietly. Or perhaps I summoned you. Does it matter? Here we are. Here we are, Homelander repeated. His hands were shaking. You made a mistake coming to my planet, my city. These are my people, and I'm going to show them that you're nothing, that I'm terrified, Thanos finished. You are terrified. Not of me, of irrelevance, of being exposed as the frightened child you've always been. The Mind Stone glowed yellow. I can see your thoughts, John. Every pathetic fear, every desperate need for validation. You are not a hero. You're not even a convincing villain. You are simply sad. Homelander's scream was inhuman. He launched forward, fists swinging with enough force to level buildings. Thanos caught his punch with one hand, the gauntleted one, and didn't move an inch. Power, Thanos said, squeezing, is not the same as strength. He twisted. Homelander's wrist snapped, audible crack echoing across the square. Homelander gasped, stumbled back, cradling his arm. It healed in seconds, bones knitting, but the crowd had seen it, seen him hurt, seen him bleed. You broke my... How did you? Homelander's voice cracked. I'm invulnerable. Invulnerable. Thanos tilted his head. No, you're simply the strongest thing in a weak universe. But I have fought hulks that would use you as a toothpick. I have destroyed Asgardians who could bench press your planet. You are not invulnerable, John. You are merely unopposed. He snapped his fingers. The reality stone flared red. Homelander's suit vanished. Not torn off, just gone. He stood in Times Square in his Vought-issued undersuit, the plain white compression gear they put on test subjects. His skin wasn't glowing, his muscles weren't bulging. He looked human, fragile. The cameras captured everything. No. Homelander's voice was small now. No, give it back. That's mine. That's a costume, Thanos said. Designed by marketers. Focus tested. Every color chosen to maximize appeal to demographics aged 18 to 54. The Power Stone pulsed. This is what you are without branding, John. This is the truth. Homelander's eyes flared red. Heat vision lanced out. Full power, no restraint. It struck Thanos, center mass. The space stone bent the beams into a circle, creating a perfect loop. The heat vision curved back toward Homelander himself. He dove sideways, his own attack carving through a Starbucks behind him. Screams, panic, people running. You're making me hurt them, Homelander yelled. This is your fault. You're making me... No. Thanos raised his gauntlet. The time stone glowed green. The Starbucks rebuilt itself. The injured people healed. Time reversed, but only for them. Only for his collateral. I am preventing you from hiding behind consequences. Every person you endanger, I will save. Every lie you tell, I will correct. You cannot win this, John. You can only reveal what you are. Homelander charged again. Faster this time. Desperate. He grabbed Thanos around the waist, lifted him, and flew straight up. 500 feet, 1,000 feet, 2,000 feet. Then stopped and let go. Thanos fell. For exactly 1 second. Then the space stone activated, and he was standing behind Homelander in midair. Physics, Thanos said, is optional when you understand reality. He grabbed Homelander by the throat and brought him down. Fast, accelerating. They hit Times Square like a meteor. Homelander-shaped crater, dust explosion, car alarms wailing across 6 blocks. When the dust cleared, Thanos stood at the crater's edge, untouched. Homelander lay at the bottom, coughing blood, bones broken. Healing, always healing, but slower now. Tired. Please, Homelander whispered. Cameras caught it. Microphones recorded it. The world heard him beg. Please, I'm sorry. I'll leave. I'll go away. Just stop. Just now, Thanos said, loud enough for every camera to hear. You're ready. He closed his fist. Not to snap. To summon. Every piece of evidence about Homelander materialized in the air above Times Square. Holographic files, videos, documents, all projected by the Reality Stone. Flight 37, the apartment building, the blackmail, the murders, the rapes, everything. 3 years of crimes displayed for the world to see. Butcher's evidence, compiled, verified, undeniable. This is your hero, Thanos announced to the watching billions. This is what you worshipped. Not because you didn't know, but because knowing was inconvenient. Homelander stared up at his own sins projected in light, started laughing, then crying, then both. I was supposed to be special, he whispered. They said I was special. You were, Thanos said quietly, almost gently. You were a child given power and no love, a weapon taught to smile. I do not hate you, John. I pity you. He raised his gauntlet. The stones blazed. But pity does not grant mercy. The Infinity Stones had been patient for eons. They'd waited through the formation of galaxies, the birth and death of civilizations, the rise and fall of cosmic empires. They could wait a little longer, but patience had limits. Thanos felt it as he stood over Homelander's broken form in the Times Square crater. A tremor running through the gauntlet. Not pain, hunger. The stones weren't just objects of power. They were fragments of existence itself, and existence had opinions about what was happening on this world. The reality stone pulsed red, showing him layers of falsehood stacked like geological strata. Vought's PR empire, government cover-ups, media manipulation, corporate structures built entirely on manufactured consent. This wasn't a civilization with corruption. This was corruption wearing a civilization as camouflage. The Mind Stone whispered of collective delusion, billions of minds choosing comfortable lies over difficult truths, not because they were stupid, but because the machinery of control had made truth too expensive to afford. The Soul Stone screamed. It always screamed here. Because every soul in this universe carried the weight of complicity, and complicity was a special kind of death. "You feel it too," Thanos murmured to the gauntlet. The stones pulsed in response. Agreement, hunger, purpose. Around him, Times Square had gone silent. 40,000 people watching Homelander cry in a crater, watching their hero revealed as a monster, watching evidence of crimes they'd suspected but never wanted confirmed scroll across every screen. Some were crying. Some were angry. Most were filming. Thanos looked up at Vought Tower, visible above the surrounding buildings, its logo glowing like a beacon, like a target. "You wanted me to understand the disease before curing it," he said to the memory of Stan Edgar's voice. "I understand now. The disease isn't the heroes. It's the system that requires heroes, the need itself." The stones blazed in unison, purple, blue, red, orange, yellow, green. Rainbow light that made shadows dance like living things. Thanos closed his eyes and let the stones show him everything. The Mind Stone revealed the neural pathways of control, how Vought's marketing had literally rewired societal cognition, creating dependencies on heroic narratives, how fear had been weaponized and then sold back as security, how entire generations had been conditioned to believe protection required submission. The reality stone peeled back corporate structures like onion layers, showing the truth beneath. Vought wasn't a company. It was a parasite that had grown large enough to convince its host it was vital organs. Every government contract, every school curriculum, every licensed action figure. Infection masquerading as immunity. The Soul Stone showed him the spiritual cost, millions of souls hollowed out by manufactured meaning. People who traded authentic purpose for brand loyalty. Children raised to worship false gods, because real transcendence had been commodified out of reach. The Space Stone mapped the infrastructure. 92 facilities across 34 countries, each one producing either Compound 5 or the propaganda necessary to make Compound 5 seem necessary. A global web of dependence. The Time Stone showed him trajectories, 3 possible futures depending on action or inaction. In one, Thanos destroyed everything, and humanity rebuilt the same structures with different names. In another, he did nothing, and the civilization collapsed within 2 generations under the weight of its own contradictions. In the third required precision, surgery, not slaughter. "You want me to remove the tumor without killing the patient?" Thanos said to the stones. They pulsed affirmation. "But the tumor has convinced the patient it's the heart. Removal will feel like death." More pulsing. Agreement. Necessity. Thanos opened his eyes. The gauntlet was glowing now, all 6 stones active simultaneously, reality bending around his fist like light around a black hole. In the crater, Homelander had stopped crying. He was staring at Thanos with something beyond fear. Recognition, maybe. The look of someone watching their execution and understanding it was always inevitable. "What are you doing?" Homelander whispered. "What is that light?" "Evolution," Thanos replied. "Forced, painful, necessary." He raised the gauntlet toward Vought Tower. The stones didn't destroy the building. They analyzed it. The reality stone showed every lie told in every boardroom. The Mind Stone revealed every psychological manipulation embedded in every advertisement. The Soul Stone weighed every life destroyed for quarterly earnings. The Space Stone mapped every facility connected to this hub. The Time Stone calculated every future prevented by Vaught's existence. The Power Stone measured the energy required to unmake it all. And then the stones began to feed, not on matter, on corruption itself. The tower's glass began to crack, not from force, but from exposure. Every window showing reflections of Vaught's crimes. Every floor revealing the truth of what happened there. The reality stone was pulling the lies out of the infrastructure like poison from a wound, making them visible, undeniable, permanent. On the 47th floor, where marketing designed heroic narratives, the walls began displaying footage of focus groups teaching executives how to spin atrocities. On the 63rd floor, where legal buried evidence, filing cabinets burst open and documents plastered themselves across every surface. On the 89th floor, where Stan Edgar made decisions that killed thousands for profit margins, his own security footage played on loop. Every cold calculation, every murdered whistleblower, every child sacrificed to maintain stock prices. The building wasn't collapsing. It was confessing. "No," Ashley Barrett whispered from her office on the 52nd floor, watching her own emails materialize on the walls around her. Every lie she'd told, every cover-up she'd facilitated, every time she'd chosen her career over her conscience. "No, please, I was just doing my job." The stones didn't care about excuses. Across the city, every Vought facility began the same transformation. The Mind Stone reached through their network, pulling corruption into visibility. Servers that stored blackmail material began broadcasting it. Labs that tested on unwilling subjects had their walls turned transparent. Warehouses that stored bodies had their floors open like graves sharing secrets. Butcher watched from Times Square's edge, flash drive still in his bag. Unnecessary now. "Bloody hell," he breathed. "He's not destroying evidence. He's turning the whole fucking company into evidence." MM stared at Vought Tower, transforming into a monument of confession. "That's not possible. That's the reality stone," Huey said quietly. He'd been reading about Infinity Stones since Thanos arrived. Old myths, cosmic legends, warnings carved into dead civilizations. It doesn't just change reality. It reveals it, shows what's really there under all the illusions. On the tower's roof, Stan Edgar stood watching his empire unmake itself. His phone was exploding with calls, board members, senators, foreign dignitaries, all demanding explanations. He ignored them all. There was nothing left to explain. The stones were showing the world what he'd always known existed. The only difference was now, nobody could look away. His office door opened. Victoria Neumann, head exploder, congresswoman, Vaught's puppet with delusions of autonomy, stood in the doorway, eyes wide. "Sir, what do we do?" Edgar turned to face her. For the first time in 30 years, he smiled. Really smiled, not the corporate expression. Something genuine and broken and almost relieved. "Nothing," he said. We do nothing. It's over. Finally, mercifully, it's over. But the company was always going to end like this. I just thought I'd be dead before the reckoning came. He walked to the window, pressed his palm against glass that was showing footage of him ordering the plane disaster that made Homelander a hero. You can't build an empire on lies forever. Eventually, reality demands payment. I just never expected payment to arrive wearing a gauntlet. Back in Times Square, Thanos lowered his hand. The stone's glow faded to a pulse. Vought Tower still stood, but it was no longer a tower. It was a testimony. Every crime visible, every victim acknowledged, every lie exposed to light that would never fade because the reality stone had made truth permanent. This is balance, Thanos said to the watching world. Not destruction, exposure. You built gods on foundations of suffering and called it heroism. I've removed the foundation. Now we see if the gods can stand on truth. He turned to Homelander, still in the crater, staring at his own reflection in a pool of blood. You asked what I'm doing, Thanos said. I'm showing this world what it worshipped. Starting with you, continuing with the system that made you possible, and ending. The stones pulsed. Ending with a choice. What choice? Someone in the crowd yelled. Thanos smiled. Sad, ancient, patient. Tomorrow at dawn, I return. And I will remove every trace of Compound V from this world. Every super will wake up human. Every enhanced ability will fade. Every corporate superhero will become just another person. He let that sink in. No powers, no heroes, no false gods, just humanity, forced to save itself. Silence. Then chaos, screaming, panic, phones calling senators, priests, therapists, anyone who might have answers. But Butcher was smiling, really smiling. He's not killing them, he whispered. He's doing something worse. He's making them irrelevant. Thanos met Butcher's eyes across the crowd. Nodded once. Then he vanished, and the stone's hunger finally felt something like satisfaction. Dawn broke over New York like a held breath releasing. Homelander woke in the crater, surrounded by police tape and National Guard units who'd been ordered to watch him but not engage. His body had healed overnight. Bones reset, bruises faded, skin perfect again. But something felt wrong. Off, like a guitar string tuned slightly flat. He tried to float. Nothing happened. Tried again, pushing harder, the way he'd done since he was 4 years old in that lab. His feet stayed on the ground. No, he whispered. No, 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 no. Heat vision. He focused on a nearby hot dog cart. Pushed, felt the familiar burn behind his eyes. The burn came, but no beams. Just burning. Just pain. He screamed. Across the city, in a penthouse apartment paid for by endorsement deals, starlight, Annie January, woke to the same wrongness. She'd fallen asleep with the powers humming under her skin, that constant electrical awareness she'd carried since childhood. Now there was just silence, just flesh. She raised her hand toward the lamp, tried to absorb its light. Nothing. The electricity didn't recognize her anymore, or she didn't recognize it. Annie started laughing, then crying, then both. Because she'd spent 15 years hating what Vought made her do with her powers, and now that they were gone, she felt amputated. In Belle Reve prison, Queen Maeve sat on her bunk and flexed her hand. No super strength, no enhanced durability. Just 42 years of alcohol damage and regret in a body that was suddenly, terrifyingly mortal. She looked at her cellmate, a woman who'd tried to kill her last week and failed because Maeve was invulnerable. Huh, Maeve said. Guess we're even now. The cellmate punched her. Maeve's nose broke. Blood poured. Pain, real pain, not the distant echo she'd felt for decades, exploded across her face. Maeve laughed until she choked on her own blood. It was the first honest thing she'd felt in years. At Vought Tower, still standing, still covered in its crimes like a building wearing its autopsy, Stan Edgar sat in his office and watched the reports flood in. Every soup on the planet depowered. Simultaneously, no exceptions. The medical readings were identical. Compound V still in their systems, but inert, dormant. The genetic switches flipped to off. His phone rang. The president. "Edgar, what the hell is happening? Our military soups are down. The Chinese are calling. The Russians are mobilizing. Everyone's vulnerable and nobody knows." "Thanos kept his promise," Edgar interrupted. "He said he'd remove Compound V's effects. He did. And now humanity has to face itself without superhuman protection." "You're telling me that alien just disarmed the entire planet's enhanced defense systems?" "No, sir." He revealed that those systems were never defense. They were control. And now the control is gone. Edgar hung up, turned off his phone, poured his last glass of scotch and watched the sunrise paint his building's confession in gold. Downtown, in the warehouse, Butcher's phone was ringing off the hook. News agencies, government contacts, everyone wanting to know what happened, what's next, how to fix it. He ignored them all. Instead, he was watching Huey, Frenchie, MM, and Kimiko clustered around a laptop, reading the overnight data dumps. Thousands of files that the Reality Stone had made public. Names, dates, locations, every Vought crime, every government cover-up, every corporate collaboration with evil. "It's all here," Huey whispered. "Everything we spent years trying to find, every victim, every deal, every... Billy, this is enough to put thousands of people in prison. This is chaos," MM finished. "This is chaos. Half the government's implicated. CEOs, judges, cops. Thanos didn't just depower soups. He exposed everyone who enabled them." "Good," Butcher said. Lit a cigarette. "Let it burn. Let them all fucking burn." "And then what?" Frenchie asked. "When the burning stops, when everyone powerful is either in prison or dead, who runs things then?" Silence. Nobody had an answer. Revolution was easier than reconstruction. Kimiko signed something. Frenchie translated. "She says Thanos didn't give us a solution. He gave us a blank page. We have to write what comes next." "Poetic," Butcher muttered. "Also terrifying." At exactly 7 a.m., every screen in the world, television, phone, billboard, monitor, displayed the same image. Thanos, standing in the ruins of Times Square, the gauntlet no longer glowing. The stones were dark, dormant, their work complete. "Humanity," Thanos said, his voice reaching every ear simultaneously. "I have removed your false gods. Your powers are gone. Your heroes are human. Your protection racket is closed." He paused. "This is not cruelty. This is mercy. You are dying slowly, poisoned by your own need for saviors. I have removed the poison. What happens next is your choice." The Mind Stone pulsed once, yellow, brief. Thanos continued. "I have placed all evidence of corruption into public record. Every crime committed by those who claim to protect you is now yours to judge. Every system built on lies is now exposed to truth. You can rebuild those systems, rename them, pretend nothing changed, or you can build something new." The Soul Stone glowed orange. "I have seen your souls. Most of you are complicit. Some of you are innocent. All of you are capable of better. The question is whether you will choose better or choose comfort." He raised the gauntlet. The stones blazed one final time, all six in perfect harmony. I give you one gift before I leave. One mercy for the chaos I have caused. The time stone pulsed green. Every person killed by a Supi in the last 10 years, every victim of Homelander, every casualty of corporate heroism, every child sacrificed to maintain the lie, remembers now. Their families remember. The evidence is in your minds, permanent and irrefutable. You cannot forget. You cannot deny. You must choose what to do with truth. Across the world, millions gasped as memories flooded back. Memories that Vought had buried, that grief counselors had suppressed, that legal settlements had bought silence for. Parents remembered children crushed in heroic rescues. Victims remembered assaults covered up by NDAs. Witnesses remembered murders spun as accidents. The collective scream lasted 30 seconds. When it ended, Thanos spoke again. This is balance, not death, not destruction, accountability, truth, choice. He looked directly at the camera, at the billions watching. I have shown you what you worshipped. I have removed the power that made worship necessary. What you build next will define whether your species deserves to exist. The space stone opened a portal behind him, not purple anymore, but clear. A window to somewhere else, somewhere far from this broken world. I am leaving. The stones have tasted this universe's corruption and found it educational. He smiled, sad and ancient. But I will be watching. And if you rebuild the same systems with different names, if you create new gods to replace the old, if you learn nothing from this gift of truth, the stones pulsed ominously. I will return, and next time, I will not be merciful. He stepped through the portal. Before it closed, he looked back once, found Butcher in the crowd, made eye contact. Take care of them, Thanos said, voice only in Butcher's head via the Mind Stone. They'll need someone who understands monsters to teach them not to become monsters again. Then he was gone. The portal sealed. The screens went black. For exactly 5 seconds, the world was silent. Then the riot started. In downtown Manhattan, crowds surrounded Vought Tower, chanting for arrests. In Los Angeles, former Supi fans burned their merchandise in the streets. In Washington, senators who'd taken Vought money found their offices occupied by protesters carrying printouts of their crimes. In Belle Reve, guards realized all their prisoners were now as strong as they were, and the power dynamic shifted in heartbeats. Homelander, still in the crater, still powerless, watched the chaos on a dropped phone screen. Watched his face on every wanted poster. Watched crowds calling for his head. I was supposed to be special, he whispered to nobody. They said I was special. A shadow fell over him. Butcher, standing at the crater's edge, hands in his pockets. You were special, Butcher said. Special kind of cunt. But Thanos took away your powers, not your crimes, and now you get to answer for every single one. Homelander looked up. For the first time in his life, looked up at someone without hate or superiority. Just exhaustion. Are you going to kill me? Butcher considered it. Really considered it. 3 years of planning, of hunting, of dreaming about this exact moment. Homelander powerless. Vulnerable. Mortal. He pulled out his gun, aimed it at Homelander's head. 40,000 people held their breath. Butcher lowered the gun. Nah, he said. Death's too easy. You're gonna stand trial, gonna face every victim, gonna spend the rest of your mortal life in a cell, surrounded by people who hate you, knowing you'll never fly again. He smiled. That's balance, you fucking monster. living with what you've done." He turned and walked away, leaving Homelander alone in the crater as the sun rose on a world without heroes, without gods, just people, scared, angry, freed people who had to figure out what came next. Thanos had lied. Not about leaving. He had left, stepped through the portal, crossed dimensional barriers back to the space between spaces where the stones hummed their cosmic harmonies. But he hadn't removed Compound V. Not yet. He'd given them a vision. A collective hallucination powered by the Mind Stone, showing them what it would feel like to be powerless. The Supes felt mortal. The victims remembered their dead. The world tasted accountability for exactly 12 hours. Long enough to see how they'd react. And now, standing in his dimensional fold, watching Earth through the Space Stone's lens, Thanos saw the answer. Riots in 17 cities. Homelander dragged from the crater by an angry mob. Saved only by National Guard intervention. Vought's board members fleeing to countries without extradition. Stan Edgar surrendering to federal authorities, walking into FBI headquarters with his hands up and a smile on his face. Ashley Barrett having a complete breakdown on live television, confessing to crimes between sobs. But also, former Supes forming support groups. Victims' families organizing tribunals, communities building mutual aid networks because the heroes weren't coming. Churches opening their doors, neighbors helping neighbors. The beginning, fragile, tentative, of people learning to save themselves. Interesting, Thanos murmured. The Soul Stone pulsed orange, showing him the shift in collective consciousness. Fear, yes. Anger, absolutely. But also something else. Something that tasted like possibility. They might actually learn, he said to the stones. Given time, given pressure, they might become something better than what they were. The stones pulsed in sequence. Agreement, hope, hunger for something besides destruction. Thanos closed his eyes and made his decision. The gauntlet blazed. At 7 p.m., exactly 12 hours after his departure, every screen activated again. Thanos' face, larger than life, expression unreadable. "Humanity," he said, "I have watched your response to powerlessness. Watched how you treated each other when the protection racket closed. Watched what you built in the absence of gods." He paused. "Some of you rebuilt the same hierarchies. Some of you demanded new heroes. Some of you hoarded resources and blamed the vulnerable." The reality stone pulsed red, showing footage of the worst reactions. Looters, opportunists, politicians already drafting bills to recreate Vought under different names. "But some of you," Thanos continued, and now something almost like warmth entered his voice, "chose differently, chose community over competition, chose truth over comfort, chose to save yourselves instead of waiting for salvation." The Soul Stone glowed orange, showing the support groups, the mutual aid, the tribunals seeking justice instead of revenge. This was a test. You passed and failed simultaneously. Perfectly balanced, as I expected from a species still learning what it means to be conscious. He raised the gauntlet, all 6 stones blazing. "So here is my judgment, my gift, my curse." Thanos snapped his fingers. The sound echoed across dimensions, a crack like reality breaking and reforming simultaneously. The stones flared so bright they burned after images into billions of retinas. And then the snap took effect, but not the way anyone expected. Homelander, in his cell awaiting trial, felt warmth in his chest. Looked down. His veins were glowing blue, not with power, but with something else. The compound phi in his system was changing, restructuring, and then it was gone. Purged. Completely. He was human now, actually human. Not depowered Supe, waiting for abilities to return. Human. He started screaming, then laughing, then both. Across the world, every person with compound V felt it, the chemical burning out of their systems like fever breaking. A train clutched his chest as his heart stopped racing, stopped straining, stopped trying to run at speeds that should have killed him years ago. Queen Maeve felt her bones lose their density, her muscles lose their enhancement. Starlight felt electricity stop recognizing her as a conductor. They were human. Finally, permanently, irreversibly human. But that wasn't the worst part. The worst part was the second effect of the snap. The Mind Stone had marked everyone complicit in Vaught's crimes, executives, politicians, accomplices, and now they remembered. Remembered everything, every decision, every victim, every moment they chose profit over principles. The memories weren't new, but the ability to deny them, to compartmentalize, to rationalize. That was gone. Stan Edgar sat in his FBI holding cell and felt 30 years of buried guilt crash over him like a tsunami. Every child he'd approved for testing, every whistleblower he'd silenced, every calculation that turned human lives into acceptable losses. He'd always known, but now he couldn't unknow, couldn't numb it, couldn't hide behind pragmatism. He put his face in his hands and wept. Ashley Barrett, in her apartment, surrounded by pill bottles she'd been staring at for an hour, felt the weight of every lie she'd told, every cover-up she'd enabled, every time she chose her career over her conscience. The Mind Stone made her watch it all on repeat, a highlight reel of complicity. She called her mother for the first time in 6 years and confessed everything. Madeline Stillwell's replacement, Victoria Newman, head exploder, congresswoman, Vaught's puppet, felt her own hypocrisy laid bare. Every populist speech while taking corporate money, every victim she'd killed to maintain her cover. The Mind Stone showed her what she'd become, and for the first time since childhood, Victoria Newman felt shame. But the cruelest part of the snap, the part that made it genius and terrible, was the third effect. Every victim of Vaught's crimes received something back. Not their lives. Thanos wasn't resurrection, but closure. The Mind Stone gave them complete knowledge of what happened to their loved ones, who was responsible, why it happened, what the cover-up looked like, names, dates, bank transfers, everything. And the legal system was flooded overnight with lawsuits that couldn't be dismissed because the evidence was literally in people's minds. Verifiable, irrefutable. Butcher sat in the warehouse, watching the news coverage of mass arrests, mass confessions, mass systemic collapse. His phone buzzed. Unknown number. Text message. This is what you wanted. Justice without revenge. Accountability without execution. They will suffer with their memories until they die naturally. Is this balance enough for you? T. Butcher typed back. It's a start. The response came immediately. Good, because now comes the harder part. Building something better. That's your job. I've removed the cancer. You have to heal the patient. No response after that. Thanos was truly gone this time. MMM looked over Butcher's shoulder at the phone. So that's it. Thanos snaps his fingers and suddenly everyone's guilty conscience activates? Not everyone. Just the ones who were always guilty but good at pretending otherwise. Butcher pocketed his phone. He didn't change what they did. He changed their ability to live with it. That's... Huey struggled for words. That's actually worse than killing them. Yeah, Butcher agreed. It is. Living with what you've done, can't hide from it, can't drink it away, can't rationalize it. That's the kind of hell that lasts. Kimiko signed something. Frenchie translated. She says it's mercy and cruelty at once. They live, but they suffer. They're free, but trapped by truth. Perfectly balanced, MM muttered, like the purple bastard said. Outside, sirens wailed as police arrested former Vought executives who were turning themselves in, confessing to everything, begging for prison because at least prison had walls between them and their memory. In Times Square, where the crater remained, someone had placed a memorial. Not for Homelander, not for the Seven, for everyone who died believing heroes would save them. The plaque read, "They lied, we believed, never again." And standing at the memorial's edge, reading those words, Annie January, no longer Starlight, just Annie, felt something she hadn't felt in 15 years. Free. She was human, mortal, vulnerable, and she could walk away, could choose a different life, could be something other than what Vought had made her. Behind her, someone coughed. She turned. Huey Campbell, hands in his pockets, looking nervous. "Hey," he said. "I saw you on the news. Saw what happened. Just wanted to check if you were... if you needed..." "I'm okay," Annie said. Then corrected herself. "No, I'm not okay, but I will be. For the first time ever, I think I actually will be." They stood together in silence, watching the sunrise paint the memorial gold. Across the city, in his cell, Homelander sat on his bunk and stared at his hands. Human hands. Weak hands. Hands that would never lift cars or crush skulls or make the world bow again. "I was supposed to be special," he whispered. Like a prayer, like a curse. The guard outside his cell, a man whose sister had died in Flight 37, looked through the window and smiled. "You were," the guard said. "Special kind of monster. Now you're just a man, and men answer for their crimes." Homelander closed his eyes and saw his future. Decades in prison, aging, weakening, surrounded by people who hated him, remembering every victim, every crime, every moment he chose cruelty over mercy. The Mind Stone's gift, perfect, eternal accountability. He started laughing. It was the laugh of someone who'd finally lost completely. And somewhere in the space between spaces, Thanos heard that laugh and nodded. Balance. 6 months after the snap, the world looked different. Vought International was gone. Not destroyed, dismantled. Every asset seized, every patent voided, every facility converted to hospitals or shelters, or left empty as monuments to what humanity had survived. The tower still stood in Manhattan, but now it was a museum. A warning. Every floor preserved exactly as Thanos had left it, covered in evidence of crimes that could never be erased. Stan Edgar died in prison. Heart attack. Natural causes. He'd confessed to everything in the weeks before, gave testimony that put 400 people behind bars, dismantled networks spanning 40 years, spoke for 16 hours straight about every decision that traded lives for profit. His last words, according to the guard present, were, "Tell them I'm sorry. Tell them it won't matter, but tell them anyway." Ashley Barrett survived. Barely. She'd tried to end it twice before accepting that living with guilt was her sentence. Now she ran a non-profit helping former Vought employees process their complicity. Attendance was mandatory for parole. She started every meeting the same way. "My name is Ashley, and I was a coward who chose silence over courage 147 times. I counted. Homelander's trial lasted 4 months. Every victim testified, every crime detailed, every cover-up exposed. The jury deliberated for 11 minutes. Guilty on all counts. Life imprisonment, no parole. He sat in the defendant's chair and didn't speak, didn't react, just stared at his hands like he still couldn't believe they were human. He was transferred to a maximum security facility in Colorado. No special cell, no extra security, just another inmate. Within a week, someone shivved him in the lunch line. He survived, barely, and spent 2 months in medical. When he returned to general population, he was quieter, smaller, the kind of small that came from understanding you'd never be special again. Queen Maeve lasted 3 weeks human before she drank herself to death. They found her in a motel room with a note that said, "I was always human, that was the problem." Her funeral had 6 attendees. Butcher came. He didn't know why. A-Train had a heart attack during withdrawal from the compound Vought purge. He survived, but the damage was permanent. He needed a walker now. Moved back to his mother's house. Started coaching kids track at a community center. Never talked about his past. The kids didn't care. They just knew Coach Reggie pushed them to be better. Starlight Annie went back to Iowa, worked at her mother's real estate office, dated a local veterinarian named Marcus, who thought her Vought past was wild, but never asked for details. She was happy, genuinely happy, the kind of happy that came from anonymity. Deep, the fish man tried to restart his career as a motivational speaker. It didn't work. Crowds threw things. He changed his name, moved to Alaska, worked on a fishing boat. The irony wasn't lost on him. The world had to learn how to save itself, and it was messy. Crime rates spiked initially. No soups meant criminals felt emboldened, but communities adapted. Neighborhood watches, mutual aid networks, people actually calling the police instead of waiting for heroes. It wasn't perfect. People still died. But they died in a system that was trying to be better, not a system that had monetized their fear. Governments collapsed and reformed. The US had 3 different presidents in 6 months before stabilizing under a coalition government nobody loved, but everyone tolerated. Russia fractured into regional powers. China's Soupy program imploded, taking half their military infrastructure with it. The UN actually started functioning because nobody had superhuman leverage anymore. It was chaos. It was ugly. It was real. Butcher watched it all from the warehouse-turned-community center he'd opened in Brooklyn. "The Honest Bastard," the sign read. Inside, former Vought employees, ex-soups, victims' families, and random civilians worked together. Therapy groups, legal aid, job training, addiction counseling. ran operations. Frenchie taught technical skills. Kimiko led self-defense classes for women. Huey managed databases tracking former Vought crimes still being prosecuted. And Butcher told stories. Every week he stood in front of a room full of people who'd been part of the machine. Enablers, victims, witnesses, and made them tell the truth. Out loud, on record. No hiding, no rationalizing, just accountability. "My name's Billy Butcher," he'd start every session, "and I've killed 17 people. Some deserved it, some didn't. I told myself it was war, but that was a lie. It was revenge, and revenge don't care about deserving." Then others would speak. Former Vought employees confessing to cover-ups, ex-soups admitting to crimes, victims sharing what they'd lost. No forgiveness offered, no redemption promised, just truth, spoken aloud, witnessed by others who understood. It was Thanos' vision in miniature, balanced through exposure. On the 6-month anniversary of a snap, Butcher received a package. No return address. Inside, a small purple stone, inert, dead. and a note in handwriting that looked carved rather than written. You asked if balance was enough. It never is. Balance is maintenance, not destination. This world will try to rebuild its gods. Humans always do. When that happens, when you see the signs of people choosing comfortable lies over difficult truths, crush this stone. I will know. I will return, but only if absolutely necessary. Prove to me it won't be necessary. T. Butcher held the stone, recognizing it as a fragment of the Power Stone, deliberately depowered, waiting. He put it in his safe next to Becca's photo and a loaded pistol. 3 things he hoped he'd never need but couldn't risk being without. That evening, Huey found him on the roof, smoking, watching the sun set. You think we're doing it right? Huey asked. This whole rebuilding thing? No clue, mate, but we're doing it honest. That's more than we had before. Butcher exhaled smoke toward the skyline. Thanos didn't give us instructions, didn't tell us what to build, just removed the lies and said, figure it out. So that's what we're doing. And if we fail, if we rebuild Vought under a different name, then a purple bastard comes back and we have this conversation again. Probably with more explosions. Butcher stubbed out his cigarette. But I don't think we will. You know why? Why? Because we remember, all of us. The Mind Stone made sure of that. Every person complicit remembers what they did and can't unknow it. Every victim remembers what was taken and won't let it happen again. That's the real balance. Not power, not punishment. Memory. He stood. Long as we remember what we were, we've got a chance at being something better. Below them, the community center buzzed with activity. Former enemies working together, former victims helping former perpetrators process guilt, former heroes learning to be human. It wasn't perfect. It wasn't pretty, but it was honest. And somewhere in the space between spaces, Thanos watched through the Soul Stone's vision and felt something he hadn't felt since Gamora died. Pride. Not in himself, in them, in their messy, ugly, beautiful attempt to save themselves. Perhaps, he said to the stones, mercy was the right choice after all. The stones pulsed agreement, and Thanos allowed himself to hope that he'd never have to return, that humanity would prove itself capable of learning, that balance, once established, could maintain itself through conscious choice rather than cosmic intervention. But he kept the gauntlet close, just in case, because hope, as he'd learned across eons of culling civilizations, was a variable, and variables required monitoring. The stones hummed their cosmic song, and Thanos settled in to watch a species grow up, or fail trying. Either way, it would be educational. 3 years after the snap, Homelander got parole. Not because he deserved it, not because he'd served enough time. He'd never serve enough time for what he'd done. But because the prison psychologist argued that John Gillick, his real name, the one Vought had buried under branding, had become more useful as a symbol of redemption than as a cautionary tale. The parole board disagreed, voted 7-2 to deny. But the Mind Stone's lingering effect meant everyone involved remembered every detail of every crime, and also remembered the testimony of Dr. Sarah Chen, who'd treated John for 3 years and watched him transform from a monster into something resembling a broken human. He cries every night, Dr. Chen had testified. Nightmares about his victims. He's written 4,000 letters of apology, none sent because his therapist recommended waiting until he meant them. He's not rehabilitated. He'll never be rehabilitated. But he's no longer dangerous. He's just sad. So they released him under strict conditions: ankle monitor, mandatory therapy, restraining orders from 847 victims' families, prohibited from appearing in media, required to work a civilian job under his real name. John Gillick walked out of prison at age 45, looking 60. Gray hair he'd never had time to grow before. Lines on his face from actual emotion instead of practiced smiles. He moved slowly, carefully, like someone still getting used to gravity. Butcher was waiting outside, leaning against a truck, smoking. He'd promised himself he wouldn't come. Came anyway. "Heard you got out," Butcher said. John flinched at the voice. "You here to kill me?" "Thought about it. Drove here with my gun loaded. Then I remembered something Thanos said." Butcher took a drag. "He said death's easy. Living with what you've done is the real punishment." He was right. John's voice was quiet, broken. Nothing like Homelander's commanding boom. Every day I wake up and remember what I was, what I did. The Mind Stone made sure I can't forget, can't rationalize, can't pretend I didn't have choices. Good. They stood in silence. 3 years ago, this moment would have ended with Butcher's gun and John's blood. Now it was just two men who'd been shaped by the same corrupt system, standing on opposite sides of an invisible line. "My parole officer got me a job," John said. "Sanitation, night shift. Nobody'll recognize me in the dark," she said. "Maybe I can just exist, quietly, until I die." "That's all you get," Butcher said. "Quiet existence. No redemption arc. No inspirational comeback. Just life. Lived small. Remembered for what you were." "I know." John started walking. Stopped. "For what it's worth. I'm sorry. I know it doesn't change anything. Doesn't bring anyone back. But I'm sorry." Butcher didn't respond. Watched John walk away. Slow, hunched, human. Watched until he disappeared around a corner. Then Butcher got in his truck and drove to the cemetery. Becca's grave was simple. No heroic epitaphs, just her name and dates. Butcher knelt, placed fresh flowers. "He's out," Butcher said to the headstone. "Homelander, John. Whatever he is now, probably should have killed him. But Thanos was right. Death would have been mercy. And he don't deserve mercy." He touched the stone. "I think I'm done, love. Done hunting, done hating. Thanos took that from me when he made everyone accountable. Hard to hate someone who hates themselves more than you ever could." The wind picked up. Butcher took it as acknowledgement. At Vought Tower, now the Museum of Accountability, a new exhibit opened. 3 years after, lessons in systematic failure. School groups toured daily, teachers explaining how corporations had weaponized heroism, how celebrity culture had enabled monsters, how collective delusion had cost thousands of lives. In one exhibit room, Homelander's suit stood behind glass. Beside it, a placard. "This costume sold 4 billion in merchandise. The man who wore it killed 1,847 people. Never confuse the product with the person. Never worship what you don't understand." Annie visited sometime. Stood in front of that exhibit and remembered being Starlight. Remembered believing the lies. She'd written a book, bought and sold, My Years as Vought's Weapon, that had become required reading in ethics classes. She donated all proceeds to victims' funds. She was married now. 2 kids. Marcus never asked her to be anything except present. That was enough. In Alaska, Deep Kevin had drowned. Officially ruled accidental. Unofficially, everyone knew he'd walked into the ocean and didn't walk out. His suicide note was one sentence. "I'm sorry I wasn't better." His funeral had 12 attendees, all of them people he'd wronged who came to make sure he was really dead. A trained Reggie coached his community track team to state finals. One of his runners, a kid named Marcus from the projects, broke Reggie's old record. Reggie cried watching it. Pride and grief and relief that someone had surpassed him proved you didn't need Compound V to be extraordinary. The world had stabilized, not healed. Healing would take generations, but stabilized. Crime rates had normalized. Governments had adapted. The UN had established the Post-Enhanced World Council, dedicated to ensuring superhuman programs never emerged again. Compound V research was criminalized globally. Anyone attempting synthesis faced life imprisonment. Some called it progress. Some called it oppression. Most called it necessary. Butcher's Community Center had expanded to 40 cities. The Honest Bastard franchise, free to operate, funded by seized Vought assets, provided therapy, legal aid, job training, and truth-telling sessions for anyone touched by the soupy era. Millions had come through. Millions more needed to. On the 3rd anniversary of the snap, Butcher stood on stage in the original Brooklyn location. Room packed, former victims, former enablers, former soups, all there for the same reason, to remember. "My name's Billy Butcher," he started, same as always. "And 3 years ago, a purple alien snapped his fingers and forced us to face truth. Lot of people died in the chaos. Lot of people couldn't handle it, but we're still here. Still trying, still learning how to save ourselves instead of waiting for heroes." He paused. Thanos gave us a gift. Not the snap, the choice. He removed the lies and said, "Now what?" We're still answering that question. Probably will be for the rest of our lives, but at least we're answering it honestly. The room applauded, not because the speech was good, because it was true. After the meeting, Huey approached. "There's chatter, dark web. Someone in South America claiming they've synthesized Compound V. Probably bullshit, but..." Butcher walked to his office, opened the safe, stared at the purple stone fragment Thanos had left. "We investigating or crushing?" Huey asked. "Investigating. If it's real, we handle it ourselves. We don't need Thanos playing God again." Butcher closed the safe. "He gave us responsibility. Time we prove we can handle it." That night, alone in his apartment, Butcher sat by the window and watched the city. No soups flying overhead, no lasers cutting through the skyline, just people. Flawed, struggling, trying people. His phone buzzed. Text from M&M. "South America lead is solid. We're going in." Butcher typed back, "I'm coming." Because that was the deal. Thanos had removed the gods. Now humanity had to police itself, had to make the hard choices, had to prove it had learned. And if they failed, if Compound V returned, if the cycle started again, Butcher looked at the safe where the stone waited. Then he'd make a choice he hoped he'd never have to make. But not today. Today, they'd handle it themselves. Across the universe, in the space between spaces, Thanos felt the stone's presence pulse, felt humanity's struggle rippling through cosmic frequencies. The stones fed him information, 97% probability of sustainable balance, 3% probability of systemic collapse requiring intervention. "Good odds," Thanos murmured. "Better than most." He closed his eyes and let the gauntlet rest. Let humanity write its own ending, and for the first time since Titan fell, since Gamora died, since he'd snapped away half of all life seeking balance, Thanos allowed himself to believe that mercy could work. that consciousness, given truth and choice, could evolve. That gods weren't necessary if people learned to save themselves. The stones hummed agreement, and the universe, for a moment, felt balanced. The boys' universe didn't need saving. It needed truth. Thanos understood that the moment he arrived, saw the billboards selling heroism like fast food, watched Homelander's eyes carry the emptiness of a product that had forgotten it was supposed to be a person, felt the Soul Stone scream at a civilization that had commodified salvation until salvation itself became the disease. He didn't destroy them. Destruction was easy. Destruction was what they expected from gods, false or otherwise. Instead, he did something worse. He made them see themselves, every lie exposed, every crime made permanent, every comfortable delusion stripped away until all that remained was truth, naked and undeniable. The snap didn't kill half the universe. It killed half the illusions, and that was somehow more devastating. Homelander became John Gillick, a broken man working night shifts and writing apologies he'd never send. Vought International became a museum of accountability. The Seven became cautionary tales, and humanity, messy, flawed, struggling humanity, had to learn what it meant to be responsible for its own protection. 3 years later, the world wasn't perfect. Crime existed, corruption persisted, people still sought easy answers and powerful protectors, but they did it consciously now, with eyes open, with memory intact. The Mind Stone's gift meant nobody could claim ignorance anymore. Every choice was made knowing the cost. Billy Butcher built community centers instead of bombs. Annie January raised children instead of a public image. Reggie Franklin coached track instead of running from consequences. Stan Edgar died carrying the weight of 30 years of calculated evil. Ashley Barrett learned that living with guilt was harder than dying from it. And John Gillick, once Homelander, once America's golden god, learned that being human meant being small, meant existing without worship, meant carrying your sins until they became part of your skeleton, structural and inescapable. This was Thanos' balance. Not death, not even justice, just accountability made permanent. Truth made inescapable. A world forced to see what it had worshipped and decide, consciously, deliberately, what to build in worship's absence. Some days they chose well, some days they didn't, but they chose. That was the gift, that was the curse, that was the only path to actual balance. Free will married to consequence, choice married to memory. The Infinity Stones watched from across dimensions, humming their cosmic satisfaction. They'd found a universe broken enough to require intervention and conscious enough to deserve a chance. Whether humanity would prove worthy of that chance remained to be seen. But for the first time in eons, the stones weren't hungry. They were curious, and Thanos, the Mad Titan, the Butcher of Titan, the wielder of extinction, Thanos allowed himself something he'd abandoned after Gamora's death. Hope, not in redemption. Hope was never about redemption. It was about evolution, about species proving they could grow past their worst impulses when forced to face them honestly. The boys' universe had faced its reflection and survived. Scarred, humbled, smaller, but alive. Learning, trying. That was enough. That was balance. And in a warehouse-turned-community center in Brooklyn, Billy Butcher locked his safe containing a purple stone fragment and walked back into a room full of people telling painful truths to each other and thought, just for a moment, that maybe the purple bastard had been right all along. Maybe the only way to cure a civilization addicted to false gods was to remove the gods and see if the civilization learned to worship truth instead. Maybe accountability, made permanent and inescapable, was the only real path to balance. Maybe mercy and cruelty were the same thing, viewed from different angles. He'd never thank Thanos for it. Never forgive the chaos, the deaths, the trauma of forced evolution. But he understood it. And understanding, Butcher had learned, was how you moved forward without forgetting where you'd been. The door opened. Walked in. "South America op is green. We leave tomorrow. You ready?" Butcher smiled. Rare, genuine, tired. "Yeah, mate, I'm ready." Because gods had left the building, now came the harder work, proving they weren't necessary, proving humanity could save itself, one honest, painful, necessary step at a time. The multiverse never sleeps. More crossovers await. But this one taught a world that the only real superpower is the courage to face truth and the strength to live with it. The reckoning is over. The rebuilding has just begun. And somewhere between dimensions, Thanos watches, waiting, hoping, perfectly balanced as all things should be.